Hello again, YouTube. I'm back here out on my sawhorse workbench. Still hadn't got lights fixed down at the shop where the bench vise and everything hangs out. But anyway, I want to show you. Uh, uh, get it in the frame here. I'm not great with the camera, as you can tell. Anyway, this is off of a John Deere 318 mower deck. These were like really expensive mowers in their day, and I mean they're still really regarded and so on. But I remember as a kid, my parents or dad had a small engine repair shop, and him and his workers would talk about how such an expensive high-end mower didn't come with grease fittings, and people had to replace these things like with a big yard once a year. They would bring them in the spring, and even before mowing season started, they'd go ahead and have these replaced. And which, the old man, he made quite a few dollars off of doing this. But these bearings are really expensive from John Deere. And anyway, I just wanted to show you here what to do to make these things last pretty much forever. And these are brand new out of the pack, and you're going to be surprised at how little oil came in them. Take my trusty Mora here and pop this out. Get it good in the frame here. Now, this is supposed to be packed for a lifetime. And, I mean, most men are going to have more grease than this under their fingernails when they're cleaned up to go out on the town. And I don't know, I just don't understand how they can charge so much for such junk. But anyway, if you take even the cheap box store mowers, and I've done this to several of them, you'll have to take and press the bearings out because they're going to have this plastic dust shield in them. But anyway, pop that out and get to where that you can see the ball bearings. And anyway, just get you a hole in between the two bearings, drill, tap for a grease fitting. You can pick these grease fittings up at Harbor Freight. Like I've got a box of them that I've used on all sorts of farm implements and these older mowers and so on that I've had for a long time. I think a kit of like I don't know, I think there's about 50 or so in it for less than $10. And it comes with an assortment. These are quarter 28s. They come with the National Pipe Tap threads. But anyway, I lose my vocabulary when I'm on film as well, or trying to do these. Sound like a stammering moron, which I don't think I'm far from it. But one thing about it, when you do these, this has flash rusted because I just gave it a good scrubbing in the sink, and while we were waiting on the bearings to come in, I had it soaking in a rubbing alcohol. But if you do these and do not get it good and clean, you might as well not do it at all, because as soon as you hit that grease, you're just going to pump shavings in there, and if it's a used one, it's going to have dirt and gunk and so on in there. And when you press grease in there, you're just going to press that grease, that grime and grit into the bearings, and they're going to eat themselves up very shortly if you do not give it a good cleaning. But through the threads here, I ran a little brush through the threads, and blow it out with an air hose as well. But you want every bit of the shavings out of it, and cleanliness is the main issue. But anyway, especially on these antiques, if you can keep them going, man, I mean, that saves you lots of money compared to buying these cheap ones that last a few seasons, very short time, especially if you have a big yard. You might get 2, pushing 3 seasons out of a box store mower. But these antiques, man, I mean, they build them really heavy with this cast iron. And this 318 deck, I'm actually putting under an antique Sears Suburban that I got that the mower deck was missing. But anyway, I like the Suburban, the Sears better than the John Deere's because they were just so much more simply made. You know, and the belts to replace, you know, is just very simple as opposed to the John Deere's that, you know, took you a bunch of panels and so on to get off. But anyway, I'm just rambling on about stuff that don't matter about this project. But anyway, even the aluminum ones, as I was saying, just drill and tap and knock these grease or the covers off of these bearings. And as you can tell, get it in a good frame here, there is just not enough grease in this thing to last any time. And you know, and which I understand why they done this. I mean, you buy, you know, back in the early mid 80s, a $6,000 mower, and I think my battery's gone, but if it's still recording, anyway, you buy one of these mowers for $6,000, and this bearing wears out that costs $10 a piece, $60 for the whole thing. You're going to pay that to keep the mower going, and they know that this thing isn't going to last very long, so they just keep selling you a $60 every season part. Anyway, I hope that enough of this recorded that you got it.